Let's go back to Canada. A few words, first of all, about you. How were you spending Christmas when you were a child? Was it a certain film you were watching with your family?
As a child, no.
No? You weren't? Weren't you taken to the cinema waiting for Father Christmas, for Santa Claus to come, maybe?
I think as a young child,
yes, a very young child.
Yeah, I have memories really of just spending Christmas at home with the family. I don't have any specific movie.
Or maybe on TV, no?
Or on TV.
No, just the family.
Yeah.
It was a family film.
Yes,
Were
exactly.
they filming Christmas, for example?
No.
Taking pictures or something?
We did photos, but
Photos, yes, okay.
No,
because,
not moving pictures.
Not moving pictures, okay. Because, you know, from the very beginning, people were trying to have a little bit more to remember, especially for Christmas. That's why. And I can imagine that in Canada, Christmas, it's fabulous, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and I think although I've just told you we didn't do that, I think a lot of families did watch this. In fact, often it was the same film every year.
That's on.
The one with I'm just forgetting the title, but with Kris Kringle in New York.
Oh yes.
What's it
called?
called?
Life is Wonderful.
That's the one.
Yes.
And I later on I did watch that as well.
Frank Capra, yes.
Yes. My kids like Home Alone, though.
You see,
I think
all my guests said
yes.
My kids or even myself, we are watching Home Alone. Yes. Yeah. It's very strange how it works so well. Yeah, I think from my point of view, it's the idea of never having a child after seeing Home Alone, because the boy there, I can't function with that. It's the only moment that I'm not regretting that I have no children. I said, oh, for goodness sake, if my child would be like this one, I wouldn't like to have such a child. But it's just a subjective point of view. Of course, as we can see, people still enjoy it and probably would like at least to be a very good home bodyguard, because it's what he was doing in there, and how it's and on the other hand, and the parents forgetting the child is not the best idea. So I think it's a very clever idea anyhow for Home Alone. Anything special on the Christmas table?
In terms of what we eat,
yes, or drink.
Yeah, turkey.
Turkey,
yes, turkey, and then
like
of course
for Thanksgiving, it's the same.
Thanksgiving
yes.
For us is in October. It's a
yes,
bit
I know it's
than
earlier
American.
than
and then
on the Americans. Yes.
I mean, again, one of the nice things about Canada is it's very multicultural, and our biggest city, Toronto.
The melting pot. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's about half of the population of Toronto was not born in Canada.
Yes,
so, I mean, it's a huge number. There are many Romanians living in Canada.
Yeah, Italians in Toronto.
There are, and so one of the nice things about the holiday table is that there can be all kinds of different things. Yes, I'm from that tradition where we do usually have a turkey dinner. Other families
But your family is coming from? A long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, 250 years ago, my father's family came from Germany to Canada.
Okay.
But my mom was born and raised in England, so she was an immigrant. So all that to say, we would have some English. We would have some of the English treats that trifle, and. We would have Yorkshire pudding, but it was more
punch.
Pardon?
A punch, yes, of course, to drink, yes.
Yes,
okay.
And
eggnog?
Eggnog, yes, and apple cider. Warm, kind of mulled.
Whoa,
apple
cider.
I've
never heard
natural,
of
not
yes.
clear, but kind of cloudy, and with some cinnamon. So that was our Christmas tradition. I lived in New York for a few months working at the United Nations, and there.
What a career!
Christmas
yes,
time.
It's a trip. I think that's why you are here for
a
road
trip,
because you have a diplomatic trip here.
But just to say, it was neat to be there at Christmas time because they had all of these Christmas trees for sale, and people, I mean, real trees,
yes,
not the artificial ones. And so I asked the man selling the Christmas trees, where are these from? And sure enough, they were from Nova Scotia, from where I grew up.
Yes. That's funny, yes, yes.
And so they imported them from Canada, take them down, and they sell them, of course, for big money in New York City.
Of course, yeah,
but part of the Christmas tradition for us was to have the real Christmas tree, which adds obviously the ambiance, but the smell, yes, to Christmas. Yeah.
And Father Christmas, Santa Claus was coming in the night or in the morning?
In the night, in the night, except for one year when my brother was a bad boy, and unfortunately, I got something from Santa Claus, but my brother got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Usually, it's happening for the 6th of December in Romania, for example, for San Nicholas.
But just before people think that my parents were totally evil, Father Christmas did come, but on the next day. So he did, but it taught him a lesson, and that was my mother had warned him.
It worked?
If you jump out in the road, and that's dangerous, and he was kind of doing this too much, and so she said, if you do that again, Santa will not come. But once she had said it, she thought, oh, what did I do? She couldn't take it back. So that year, he learned a very important lesson, and ever since then,
it worked.
It worked. It worked. He's a productive member of society now.
Okay. Write to Father Christmas to be a day late, just 1 year, and if it's happening again, you can cross this address from your list. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Were you writing to Father Christmas?
We did, yes. And my children still write every year to Father Christmas.
How old are they?
They're teenagers now, 13 and 15. I don't know if my 15-year-old will this year, but
you never. It depends what he'd like to get, and to maybe have an exception, knowing that if he's not writing, maybe Father Christmas wouldn't go. Would you go? How often do you go? Not now for a year or something when we have this pandemic, but before that. Were you going with your children to the movie theaters, and how often? Just for weekends?
Yeah, I would say about once every month or so.
Okay.
We actually went quite, I would consider that a fair bit.
You let them to choose the films, or did you?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And one of the nice things about Romania, of course, you have some beautiful nature here, as we do in Canada.
Yes.
Mountains and the sea and all kinds of variety. But one of the projects we were able to support recently was the Banff Mountain Film Festival. And that was something where it really celebrates the outdoors and being active outside. It's like I say, it's something that I think many people do in Romania as well, going out for hikes or outdoor activities, skiing in the winter and so on. I think one of the nice things about working at the embassy is being able to support some of these other projects here, like there was another Alpine Film Festival we just supported in Brasov.
In Brasov, yes.
And some other things. The Bucharest Jewish Film Festival was another one. So some of these are opportunities for us to, for me to get out, and they're things that the embassy supports. As well as our embassy covers also Moldova and Bulgaria, so we've supported some films there as well. And sometimes trying to showcase some Canadian films here in Romania.
Other films that you've presented recently? Canadian film?
Yeah, the one that comes to mind is Max and Maxine by Xavier Dolan.
Yes.
And he's kind
the
of
wonder kid, by the way, that we just discussed about the Home Alone. I think it's the same. Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, that was one example, but. Of course, we'd like to do more. There's lots of interesting Canadian culture to share.
It was shown in the big festivals, so I'm glad that people could see it. Do you have anybody from this, can we call it a minority, the Cherokee people?
Well, we would say, one of the First Nations,
the
or
First
the
Nations,
Native
yes.
peoples. Yeah.
Yes. Is it anybody working for the embassy here? No.
Our embassy, well,
Yes.
our ambassador actually has some indigenous background, yes, but I know our colleagues at the embassy in Prague is an indigenous person. We recently had one of the top generals in the Canadian forces visit us here, General Paul, and he is.
I've seen an interview. Yes,
yeah,
I think,
he's.
I know he's your ambassador. He's a
indigenous.
she, and she's wonderful. Yes. Yeah.
So, but no, I don't think we have someone that's.
Because they are very. I met some of them near Montreal. They have the teepees nearby Montreal, and they were selling cigarettes. Among other things.
Yes.
And it was even, there were still mint cigarettes, and I have some friends smoking that and so on. And it was extremely interesting to enter these teepees, and they were so nice, and so they are always offering you, if you wish, something to drink, and they were like going in their own house. It wasn't the house, in fact. It was a teepee, like a, I don't know, like a shop, like a small shop, and so on. Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, one of the things that we try and promote here is the diversity of Canada.
Yeah, it was
and I
really
mentioned the English and French, but there's many other cultures, Romanians in Canada. But even within the First Nations groups, there are so many different groups in the east and across the the prairies and in the west coast and in the north. My job just before coming here was to work on circumpolar affairs and the Arctic Council. So I traveled up to the Canadian North, all three territories, and it's fascinating. But of course, each group is quite different, and they have their own culture and customs. So yeah, it's a fascinating to get to know some of those.
But they are always very eager to have guests, which is something I really appreciate in that. I mean, I felt like home every time in there, which is really something important. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the small cinema where you start working. What was the name of the cinema?
Acadia Cinema.
Acadia, I see.
It started off as just a single screen, and then they eventually converted it to have two screens.
3D?
I imagine it has been converted since.
Meantime, yes,
in the meantime. But I remember maybe partly was being in a small town, but going to the movies, it was a big event, and for some of the some of the big movies, there was a huge lineup out the door and down the street to get in. And
you say that it was said that Blockbuster is coming. Or some of them they are saying is from that the word Blockbuster was saying that the queue was over the block. Some others said it's not that, but anyhow, I prefer this explanation always. Yes.
Yeah, well, and so I remember
but
some of the
they
popular
worked together.
films.
I mean, the family with grandparents, parents, and so on, going to the movies, or just.
I mean, there was all sorts. For some it was a date night, just to go as a couple.
Of course, yes.
Some, more with the family,
we
depending
know that
on
the
the
small
movie.
cinema means a new couple. That's for sure. It helps. It helps marriages, because we have some films marriages in this one. So it's quite well. So thank you so much for this. It was magic, this film. They'll have plenty of things to find out. And thank you so much for being with us.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
See you at the movies.